a gorgeous snowfall early this morning and overnight. And since I was testing the Canon RA for video capabilities, I thought this would be a great opportunity to test, hey, how well does this thing do for white balance? So I've really not made any more adjustments. I'll review it in the video, but this was a great opportunity here. Obviously it's a beautiful setting, beautiful park in Ritter Park. This is the same setting we visited on Sunday when we had, I believe it was 65 degrees and sunny. So I thought it would be a nice counterbalance to that. We have legitimate February weather now. Hey guys, I have to admit, after I produced the Canon RA for daylight landscape use, I thought to myself, what about the video capabilities of this camera? I was inspired by fellow YouTubers like Potato Jet and others who are using their mirrorless cameras for video production, and I thought, well, I have this great camera, pretty nice lenses. What are the video capabilities? Because I must confess, I have never used my DSLRs for video production. So this is a big, steep learning curve for me. I have been diving in with YouTube videos from all the great producers. I have the PDF for the Canon RA video production on my iPad. I have my GoPro that I've revisited, and what are my capabilities there for a B camera, B-roll. And so I don't know how long this will take to produce this video, but we're going to dive in on improving our video production, and in particular, how does the Canon RA work for video production? Can we use it? What needs to be done to make it a better video producing unit? So stay tuned and we will answer all those questions with this video. Thanks for joining us. Here we are looking at some of the options you have to color correct on the Canon EOS RA directly. I just did this again on the video that I shot in my office as the introductory video, and I just did it by eye. It looked like, especially the wood, the stained wood in my office was really coming up red. So what I did, I went in, the white balance, I pretty much just leave toward daylight most of the time, unless I really know the specific lighting situation. And I came in and under, it wasn't custom white balance, it's the white balance shift, and you can just manually adjust this. And you can see here, I added more blue and more green to the overall processing. And then also you have another area, this is called picture style. And you can see here, they have many categories here, including saturation and tint and contrast. And all of these have some default standards that are set. So this is also another way. For the video that I show you in a little bit, I use landscape as the main picture style. So these are the ways you can adjust for color in the menu setting of the Canon EOS RA. One other tool that you have to correct color is in my workflow app called LumaFusion. And what I'm doing here is opening up the EOS RA file, and I'm going to do some color correction here to my eye. I'm just correcting it to my eye, mainly reducing the red channel just a bit and bringing up the green and the blue channel. I believe mostly the blue channel here. And so this is adjusted to eye. Look, I'm not a pro video producer. I'm doing a lot here by the seat of my pants, but this LumaFusion and color correction, and there are all kinds of tools and resources you can use here to help balance the color if you think that it's out of balance given the lighting or the sensitivity of the hydrogen alpha sensor that's been added by Canon. Good morning. As one final test of the Canon RA video, I came out to our local lake here, our state park lake, and wanted to do the time-lapse option that supposedly automatically constructs the time-lapse within the camera. So it was a little challenging. As you know, I use the manual lenses for astrophotography. So I went with the time value fixed at 1/4 of a second so I could really capture the early morning first light. I knew it was going to be partly cloudy, and just look at these conditions right now. It's absolutely wonderful. But I don't know if I have enough dynamic range going through my ISOs to capture this from when I started about 45 minutes ago. So this is a true experiment, and I hope it works out because the conditions have really been perfect with a partly cloudy sky conditions here after a nice little snowfall we had yesterday. So I hope this works out. Now I wanted to show you real quick how you navigate into the intervalometer, the time-lapse mode, and you basically hit the mode button and you come up with this screen where you can hit info, and there's where you can select which shooting mode you want for your movie mode. And here I selected, again, remember I'm using manual lenses, so I'm going to have to set my f-stop. It's not controlled by the camera. And I went with time control here because that way I could just control that one variable and then let the camera make the compensation with the ISO. So that's kind of the way I approached it. And if you go in, again, I went into menu, and the picture style I selected in this case was landscape. I went ahead and just left that as the default. Now once you select time-lapse, you have some other menu items you need to check, and that is there's time-lapse movie. That's default disabled. You need to enable it. I enabled it for a 1920 by 1080 output. Then you're going to select your interval time, and you can adjust that. The number of shots, auto exposure by each frame is what I went with, so the meter could adjust the ISO. And the number of shots. Now what's nice is with time, if you input all these variables, it was going to take total time for the shot to be completed 59 minutes and 58 seconds. That was going to represent 1 minute of playback. So that's a nice option. And then also you have the ISO speed settings. So you can tell it for video what range you want. What's the maximum for 4K and ISO speed range 100 to 25,600. So that was the default. So a lot of control. I wish this intervalometer was available at all times for a bulb plus type setting for astrophotography. But that's what we went through for time-lapse today. Okay, let's wrap this up. First, thanks for watching the video. Please subscribe. There's a lot of cool content coming. I'm always working on content that hopefully is unique in the YouTube space. So what we've been looking at and trying to answer the question is the Canon EOS Ra, in particular for today's segment, good for video? I'm not a video expert, but I've learned a lot in the last 2 days. And I would have to say, I could imagine that even the Ra, remember, the Ra is a unicorn in the industry. Hydrogen alpha improves sensitivity for us astrophotographers. So knowing that, can this thing be a more broad-based device and tool to use? And I would have to say for video production, it looks pretty awesome to me. And it looks like it checks all the marks. I know there are some other intricacies to consider on video production, and I'm not aware of all of them. But this thing looks great. what have I learned? I need an image stabilized lens for video capture. So video capture is a lot better with an image stabilized lens. You remember, since I'm astrophotography oriented, I tend to use primes, try to get as fast as I can. Right now that's the Rokinon brand, Samyang brand. So I need to get a image stabilized lens and learn more about camera movement and motion and how to make it more cinematic. So that's what I'm working on. It's going to enhance my astrophotography and landscape photography presentations in the future. So this has been great. We have a lot more content to come. In particular, one of the things I'm going to be reviewing is what has turned out to be a tremendous tool for me, and that's LumaFusion app for compiling video. The other thing we have a little surprise coming. We're going to employ this tool. Now look, there are a million videos on this on the web. I don't need to do another how-to or how to use it, but we're going to incorporate this into our landscape photography, and I can't wait to take that to the mountains of West Virginia. So please like and subscribe, and we got some contests coming up. I'm working on some designs for that. So thank you so much for joining me. Leave a comment, a question down in the section. That's really what initiated me to do this in-depth review of the Canon EOS Ra. So, and in conclusion, the Canon EOS Ra, not only is it a killer astronomical camera, but this is also a all-around landscape and video production camera. Now, I'm not a portrait photographer, so I can't really comment on that. I think it would do great with the right lens set, the right color balance. I think you'd do fantastic with it. So bottom line, if you're an astrophotographer, this is a great tool. I know it's a lot of money, but I think you can get a lot out of it as a tool. So thanks for joining me. Clear skies. Keep going out there and gathering those photons, and we'll see you next time.